I'm going to take a look closer at some of these menus, starting with the basic menu. So the basic menu gives the GM some basic controls to manipulate the system and the sector and the ships. I open the basic menu just by clicking this button here, and it opens this basic menu. If I want to clear this menu off or go to another menu, I can either click the clear option, which will just remove the menu so I've got my full screen back, or I can click on another menu that I want to take a look at, so if I wanted to swap over to interacting with player ships. That's the same in any menu that you have. Looking at the options then, the first one is a move to GM option. This is moving the target to the game master position. There's also this key reference underneath. There are shortcut keys that are set up within the sandbox. There's only a couple of them at the moment, which allow you to just use a keyboard instead of having to click the button. For the move to GM option, you select the object that you want. In this case I've selected the TSN horizon. Right click somewhere on the map and I can move that object to that position. So I can move the TSN horizon around. I could move the TSN saber to a new position if I want. I could also use the W key. So I've got the TSN saber selected, I've got a position on the map selected, and I can use the W key to move the saber there as well. It's helpful if you want to move a couple of ships to the same spot. So you can see I can move the horizon and the saber more or less to the same spot. The next option on the menu is delete terrain. This one is where the key is really useful because you can clear out some of this terrain. So for example, this nebula is quite thick. I want to clear it out, or I want to just get rid of the edge of the nebula. So I'm going to click where I want the nebula to disappear, and it's about a radius of 1000 around where the GM marker is. And if I press the T key, it will clear out that terrain within the range of the GM marker. By clicking and moving the GM marker about, it just allows me to quickly clear off these nebula. It works as well with asteroids, so if I go to the asteroid field, I'm going to select this area here, and you can see it clears out those asteroids. I could take out all these asteroids if I wanted and take them out. Then the other way is to click on the area and you can click on delete terrain. So I could move my GM marker here, click delete terrain, and it will get rid of it as well. Another option is delete selected. For this I'm just going to quickly spawn in a ship so you can see how that works. So let's quickly get a TSN Scout, and I could also put in some debris if I wanted, so let's put in some debris quickly. Let's have a hegemony wreck. So a Torgoth Goliath wreck. Okay, so I've now got these two objects on the map. I don't want these two objects anymore, maybe because the ships are moving off, maybe because I want them to disappear off the sensors. So I can select that object, I can go to delete selected, and I can either click the delete selected and remove that object, or I can select and I can press the D key and it will remove that object. So delete selected removes named objects, whereas delete terrain will remove the unnamed objects like the nebula. This next option, clear meshes, specifically clears out things like life pods and rendezvous points. If you click that, it should quickly wipe out the meshes there. There are some meshes not added to that menu, so actually it's more reliable to use delete selected to get rid of them. And if you click and press D, it's quite quick to clear them out anyway. The next option on the basic menu is delete ships. For this, again, I'm going to spawn a couple of enemy fleets in. So let's go to hegemony fleets. So the delete ships allows you to clear out multiple ships at a time, different name ships. With the random name system in the sandbox, it gives them a specific designation. So I could have some of the light Corellian fleet. So I could have a nice large force. I could have ships on different sides as well. So let's go to the TSN and have a patrol boat and say a destroyer. So I have all these ships currently spawned. If the players were to move to this sector edge and move into a new sector, all these ships would still be there. They wouldn't disappear. So as game master, I need to watch for their movement, and then I need to delete the ships. This delete ships will clear out every single one of those ships in one click. You can see they're being removed. You'll have also seen an indicator that says deleting ships. That's just a pop-up message that says that the process is being run that will delete all the named ships in the area. Other things that have a random name assigned to them, like the sensor relays and comms buoys that you can spawn, and the bases will also be deleted. So anything with a single letter and 2 digits after it will be deleted with the delete ships command. 2 more options are lock sector and unlock sector. If for any reason you don't want the players moving out of this sector map, you can click the lock sector. That then stops the players moving off that map. It means that they can't escape. We have to use that, come up with a themed reason of they've been locked in there, or command don't want them to move out. There's also the unlock sector, so it will undo that, so it re-enables transitions. There's no pop-ups or status indicators for that, so if you lock the sector, you just have to remember that you've locked the sector, and if you've unlocked this, you need to go back and unlock the sector. If ever you find them players trying to transition when they should be and are unable to, you can just cycle unlock sector. The final menu I've kind of grouped together as one, called transitions. This transitions is just a reference. The button doesn't actually do anything. You then have 4 options: up, left, down and right. These move all the player ships to a particular point on the sector map and trigger a transition. So for example, we were in sector, I believe we're in Crescenda sector 6 here. If I want them to move right, I can click right. It will move these 2 ships to a central point here. It will trigger a transition and it will move us into the next sector, like so. So now we've moved into the next Crescenda sector. I could do it again and move them again. This way I can quickly move ships around different sectors. If I want to move them down, I simply click down. Then I can move them left. Left again. You can see the Antara gate there, and finally up. So that allows me to move ships quickly from one point to another. This is useful for if you spawn them in the wrong place, or you want to get them to a particular place, say if something happens with the game and you need to get them back in quickly. It just allows you to quickly cycle through those transitions. The final option is Alter GM. Unlike Move to GM, it just applies to the player ships. I can select a point on the map and I can move all players to that point. The player ships then arrange themselves in a delta formation around that point. So you can see the GM point is just behind the TSN Sabre, the horizon's off to one side. If I had the TSN Viper in there, so I can spawn the TSN Viper, you'll see the message saying that it's come online. So this is the TSN Viper that's spawned. It'll just need to cycle and wait for the TSN Viper name to pop up. I can have the TSN Viper drop in as well. Now if I zoom in, it's still named the Artemis, it will update eventually. You can see the Sabre, Horizon and Artemis are all in this echelon formation. This allows you, if you want the ships in a particular place within the sector, say for continuation of one mission to the next, you can very quickly move all the player ships to that location within the sector. So for example, this one doesn't have any bases and I want the player ships to start within the asteroid field, so I can quickly move them all to the asteroid field and they will start there in the asteroid field. Go back to main screen and you can see they've started up in the asteroid field. That's all the controls in the basic menu. I'll clear that off now, and next I'll be looking at the other menus like the ship menu, points of interest menu, the AI menu, which is possibly one of the most complex menus, waypoints and the custom menus. This is CSTM. You can't see the C on it.